Okay, this is our sheet from week 2 of our first workbook. So let's have a look. The first thing we're going to need to do is work out the duration. So the duration means how long did it go for. So if I went from Perth to Broome, I got on a plane at Perth at 9:55. So it's very nearly 10 o'clock. 9:55 a.m. And I get to Broome at 12:20. So we pull out our piece of paper. I'm leaving at 9:55 a.m. My flight arrives at 12:20 p.m., which is just after lunch. It's just after it turns into the p.m. So the first thing I'm going to do is get to the next hour. Now to get to 10 o'clock, I only need to move 5 minutes. So I add on my 5 minutes. So from 9:55 to 10 a.m. is 5 minutes. Now I want to get from 10 to my next hour, which is 12. So I'm going to 12 noon. So 10, I'm moving my hours hand, 11, 12. That was 2 hours. Now I need to get from 12 to 12:20, which is my minutes hand. I'm going to move my minutes now. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I've got 20 minutes here. So let's add up my hours and my minutes. I have 2 hours and I have 20 and 5, 25 minutes. So on my booklet here, it takes 2 hours and 25 minutes. Okay, so now we need to work out our next flight. Our next flight leaves Perth at 9:30 a.m. and it arrives at Exmouth at 11:50 a.m. So it hasn't gone over the lunchtime yet. So I set my clock over here. I have 9 hours, 30 minutes, 9:30. Okay, I need to work my way through to the nearest hour, which will be 10 a.m. Okay, because 10 a.m. is my closest one. It's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. I now want to go from 10 to my next hour, 11. So 10 to 11, I look at the hours hand, is 1 hour. Now I'm going to look at my minutes again. I have to go from 10 a.m. to, I went to 11, and now I'm going to 11:50. So we count our minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 minutes. So it's very nearly 12 o'clock, but not quite. So I have 50 more minutes here. And I need to add this up to figure out how many hours and minutes I've got. Now I can see a problem already. I know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, and I have 50 minutes here and 30 minutes. So I know if I add those two up, they're going to be more than 1 hour. So I'm going to do those first. So I have 50 plus 30 minutes. My 0 and 0 is 0. My 5 and 3 is 8. Okay, so I have 80 minutes there, but I'm not going to write 80 minutes. I need to turn that into an hour. So if I took 60 away from there, which is 1 hour, it would become 20 minutes left, okay? And I add an hour, okay? So I now have 2 hours and 20 minutes left over. 2 hours, 20 minutes. So on my booklet here, I'm going to write 2 hours, 20 minutes. My next one is leaving Perth at 4:35 p.m. and we get into Geraldton at 5:40 p.m. That's not a very long flight. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, set my clock to 4:35. Okay, here's my minutes and here's my hours. I'm going to go to 5 o'clock. I go to my next hour. Okay, so I need to move my minutes hand. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That gets me to 5 o'clock. So that took me 25 minutes. I now need to go from 5 to the next hour 5. I don't need to move that. I'm moving my minutes hand again. 40 more minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I'm now 5:40. And it took 40 minutes. So I need to add my minutes up. So we have 40 minutes and 25 minutes. 5 and 0 is 5. 4 and 2 is 6. I have 65 minutes. Now, 60 minutes is 1 hour. So if I take away 60 minutes, I'm left with 5 minutes left over. So 1 hour and 5 minutes. So on my chart, I put 1 hour, 5 minutes. My next flight, Perth to Kalgoorlie, leaves at 11:55 a.m. and it arrives at 1 p.m. This isn't a very long flight either. So I set my clock up. 11:55 is very, very nearly 12 o'clock. Okay, I'm at the 11 still and my minutes is at 55. I make it to the next hour, which would be 12 o'clock, 12 noon. Okay, so 5 minutes. Didn't take very long, did it? Oh, 5 minutes, not minutes. I now need to go from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, which is my hours hand. So if I move that, it took 1 hour to get from here to here. So my flight is 1 hour and 5 minutes. So I write that on my chart. 1 hour, 5 minutes. I have 2 flights there, exactly the same. My next flight leaves Perth to go to Karratha. It leaves at 10:50 a.m. and it gets in at 12:50 a.m. This is a really, really easy one. The reason I'm doing this, I'm going to change my strategy a little bit. Instead of going to the next hour, my minutes are exactly the same. I'm actually not going to change my minutes. So I set my clock up at 10 for my hour, 50 minutes, so it's not quite 11 o'clock yet, 10:50, okay? I'm going to 12:50. My minutes aren't going to change at all. So I'm just going to move 12:50 p.m. I better put the p.m. down there, isn't it? I'm just going to move until I get to the 12. So that means I'm moving my hours hand. 1, 2. Okay, so it took 2 hours to get from 10:50, 11:50, 12:50, 2 hours. Let's write that on our chart. Okay, our next one is from Perth to Newman. I'm leaving at 12:25, or not 12, 11:25 a.m. and my flight will arrive at 1:10 p.m. So I'm going over the lunchtime hour. So I set my clock up. I'm at 11:25. So I'm on my 11 with my hours and my 25 with my minutes. Okay, so I want to make my way around to 12. I'm going to 12 noon. I'm moving my minutes hand to get there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So it took 35 minutes to get to 12 noon. I'm now going to go from 12 noon to 1 p.m. That's my next one. Let's have a look. 12, 1. That took me 1 hour. Now I need to get from 1 p.m. to 1:10. I need to add my 10 minutes. 5, 10. So 10 minutes. This is what I need to add up all together. I have 1 hour, 35, 45. So 1 hour, 45 minutes. Let's write that on our chart. 1 hour, 45 minutes. We're nearly done. We're now going to go from Perth to Paraburdoo. So we leave at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon and we get in at 4:15 p.m. So I know if it's PM to PM, it's going to be a couple of hours. Okay, so again, I set my clock up at 2:30. So my hours hand, my red one will be at 2, and this one will be at 30 minutes, 2:30. Now, if I was a real clock, I'd be halfway between, wouldn't I? I need to get my way to 3, so I'm going to move my minutes hand, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. So to get to 3 p.m. was 30 minutes. I now want to go from 3 to 4 p.m. I'm going to look at my hours hand. 1 hour. I now need to get to 4:15, so which is my minutes. 5, 10, 15, 4:15. That took 15 minutes. So I need to add up what I've got here. I have 1 hour. I can do it over here if I'm not sure. I have 5 and 0 is 5, 3 and 1 is 4. So 1 hour, 45 minutes. We'll write that on our chart. 1 hour, 45 minutes. And our very last one. Let's have a look at that. I'm going from Perth and I'm leaving at 8:05 in the morning. And I'm going down and I am arriving at 10:10 a.m. Okay, now I can see a really smart way to do this if I set up my clock. So my hours hand is on the 8 and my minutes hand is on the 5. Okay, I'm leaving at 8:05. I'm arriving at 10:10. I know between 5 and 10 there's only 5 minutes, so I might move my minutes hand first. So if I move 5 minutes, I'm now at 8:10. Now I need to get to 10:10. I only need to move my hours hand now. So I need to go from 8, 9, 10. And that took 2 hours. So altogether, I have 2 hours, 5 minutes. We can write that on our chart. Now, what your job is now, and I'm not going to help you with this because you should be able to do this. You need to use the information on here to fill in the bottom bit here. So here it says what is the shortest to longest flights. You've got to put them in order. There are 8 flights altogether. Are there any flights the same? Well, we know that they are. There are these 2 here the same, and there are these 2 here the same. So there are some flights that are the same length, and you need to write which flights they are. Okay, there's 2 lots of flights that are the same. When you're doing the shortest to longest flights, 1 hour 45, 1 hour 45 can go just under each other. Doesn't matter which way they go, so long as they're together. Okay? I look forward to seeing you finish that. I hope that was helpful.